The Shroud of Turin is a linen cloth believed to have the image of Jesus on it, left as he was being prepared for burial. For centuries, this mysterious cloth, which bears the faint image of a man, has fascinated and puzzled the world. Many believe it is the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, making it a focus of both religious devotion and scientific debate. While the Catholic Church has long recognized the shroud's spiritual importance, its authenticity has been questioned. In the 1980s, carbon dating tests suggested the cloth was from the medieval period, around 800 to 1,000 years after Jesus' time. This seemed to disprove the idea that it was a miraculous artifact. However, interest in the Shroud of Turin has grown in recent years, driven by new perspectives and challenges to the original carbon dating results. One member of the original testing team has publicly criticized the process, claiming flaws in the methodology made the results unreliable. Additionally, the raw data from the tests was kept hidden for 27 years, leading to speculation that financial incentives might have influenced the laboratories involved. Some even suggest that powerful institutions may have had a reason to keep the story of the shroud being a medieval forgery alive. The Shroud of Turin remains a fascinating mystery, and as new scientific discoveries emerge, the debate over its authenticity will likely continue. Whether it's a sacred relic or a medieval hoax, the Shroud of Turin stands as a symbol of human curiosity and belief. Since 1578, the Shroud of Turin has been carefully preserved in the Royal Chapel of the Cathedral of San Giovanni Battista. It is a large cloth, measuring 4.3 meters long and 1.1 meters wide. What truly catches the eye are the faint brownish images on its surface. Upon closer inspection, you can see the outline of a thin, hollow-eyed figure, appearing to be a man about 5 feet 7 inches tall. The shroud seems to have captured his final moments, with one half showing a body lying flat, while the other half folds over, covering the front of the figure from head to toe. The most striking feature is the resemblance of the figure's wounds to those of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion. Marks on the head suggest a crown of thorns, while cuts on the back point to a brutal flogging. Bruises on the shoulders show the weight of carrying a heavy cross. The stains, believed to be blood, are seen as a sacred reminder of Christ's sacrifice. Although the Catholic Church has not officially declared the shroud's authenticity, it is still revered as a symbol of Christian devotion. Millions of pilgrims view it as not just a relic but a powerful symbol of Christ's suffering and death, offering a way to reflect spiritually, even if its historical accuracy remains uncertain. Since the late 1800s, scholars have tried to uncover the mysteries of the shroud through science. A key discovery came in 1898 when experts noticed that the images on the cloth resembled photographic negatives, which increased interest in the relic. In 1988, to settle questions about its authenticity, the Vatican authorized 3 independent labs to conduct carbon-14 dating tests on small samples of the linen. The results surprised many, indicating that the cloth dated between 1200 and 1300 AD, much later than the time of Christ. However, the image on the shroud still remains a scientific puzzle. While experts agree that the linen is not from the 1st century, they can't explain how the haunting image was created. For over 100 years, scientists have used advanced technology to study the shroud, but no one has been able to recreate the image or explain its origins. Recent scientific advances have renewed the debate and provided new evidence that may support the shroud's authenticity. One key figure in the shroud's investigation is Barry Schwartz, who played a major role in the first comprehensive study of the relic. Schwartz was the official photographer for the Shroud of Turin Research Project, STURP, and his initial doubts about the shroud make his perspective even more interesting. At the time, Schwartz was a non-practicing Jew and entered the project thinking the shroud was just a fake, possibly a painting created to deceive people or inspire religious devotion. Many skeptics shared his view, believing the shroud was a medieval creation rather than an authentic artifact. However, during the examination, Schwartz and his team discovered something that changed everything. They used a special device for X-ray analysis and made a surprising find. When they manipulated the lights and darks of the shroud's image, stretching them vertically according to the varying densities, a 3-dimensional human figure appeared. This was unexpected and led researchers to conclude that the image on the shroud couldn't have been created by traditional methods like painting or photography. Typically, two-dimensional images, whether painted or photographed, lack the depth needed to produce a 3D effect when altered in this way. Further analysis revealed even more surprising findings. Though the initial thought was that the image was artificially created, no traces of paint or any substances that would be expected from a painted image were found on the cloth. Instead, the image seemed to come from yellowed fibers with darker areas where the fibers were more concentrated. What made this even more puzzling was that there was no evidence of any external substance applied to the cloth. There were no signs of human manipulation to explain how the image was made. This absence of any clear artistic or technical method to create the image added to the mystery of the shroud and suggested it could not be a forgery. However, Schwartz raised important concerns about the carbon dating process, which cast doubt on its accuracy. One major issue, according to Schwartz, was the long delay in obtaining the raw data from the British Museum, which handled the carbon dating. It took 27 years under the Freedom of Information Act for researchers to access the data from the 1988 tests. This long delay was unusual for scientific research, where data should be available quickly for verification. When the data was finally released, it revealed troubling inconsistencies. The sample taken for testing was not uniform, meaning different parts of the sample dated hundreds of years apart. This suggested that the sample used for dating might not have been representative of the entire shroud. The testing procedure for the Shroud of Turin was flawed because no control samples were taken from other areas of the shroud. This was an important step to ensure the accuracy of the radiocarbon dating results. Without comparing the tested sample to other parts of the cloth, it was impossible to know if it represented the whole shroud. Additionally, further analysis of the sample revealed cotton fibers woven into the cloth, which goes against traditional Jewish burial customs that forbid mixing fabrics. This suggests that the section used for carbon dating might have been from a later repair, not the original fabric. If the carbon dating was done on a repaired section, it would make it impossible to accurately date the entire relic. This raises doubts about the conclusions made in 1988 and leaves the shroud's true age uncertain. Schwartz's research highlights the complexities and unanswered questions surrounding the Shroud of Turin. Despite advanced testing and years of research, clear answers are still missing. The carbon dating results, once thought to conclusively disprove the shroud's authenticity, now seem to have been based on flawed methods, suggesting the shroud could be much older than previously thought. In addition, scientists have closely examined the bloodstains on the shroud. The blood type has been identified as AB, which is rare but more common among Jewish people. What's amazing is how vivid the stains still are after centuries. The clarity of the bloodstains suggests the person wrapped in the shroud suffered greatly, matching the trauma of crucifixion. The way the blood flows down the arms fits how it would flow from someone on a cross. Even more astonishing is the fact that the bloodstains seem to have appeared before the image itself formed, implying the image creation started about 72 hours after the blood touched the cloth. This timeline aligns with the Christian belief in Jesus' resurrection, adding to the shroud's religious importance. Scientists have found other evidence that links the shroud to the time and place of Jesus. For example, traces of a type of limestone called travertine aragonite have been found on the shroud, matching the limestone from the tomb where Jesus was believed to be buried. This strengthens the case that the shroud could be connected to Jesus' burial. Additionally, researchers discovered 49 types of pollen on the shroud, 33 of which came from the region of Palestine. This connection to the land where Jesus lived and died suggests the shroud could be more than a medieval artifact. Another interesting detail is the shroud's unique stitching pattern, which matches a style used only in 1st century Palestine. This, combined with archaeological evidence that nails were driven through the wrists rather than the palms during crucifixions, as depicted on the shroud, provides strong support for its authenticity. Furthermore, researchers have found inscriptions on the shroud, including the words, Jesus of Nazareth, written in Greek.